Hey guys, welcome to the lower time frame strategy. So this is going to be going over the new lower time frame strategy for Elevate, as well as the benefits and the changes. And I know a lot of guys have experience with lower time frame stuff from previous groups, but hopefully this one will provide more consistency and it will give you more confidence to take trades. And yeah, hopefully it will be a game changer to your strategy and to your trading. And yeah, hopefully we can get a lot more people funded over the next few months. And I'm really looking forward to the work we can do together. So yeah, let's jump into it. So looking at the benefits and why we would trade the lower time frames. So you can catch more trades than the higher time frames. So when price comes into your supply demand zone, there's going to be a lot more lower time frame change of characters than there is higher time frames. There's going to be a large risk to reward available. So obviously when you're entering on the lower time frames, the stop losses are smaller and therefore the risk to reward is increased, as well as the break even point and everything like that. So there's less chart hours required. So what I mean by this is on the higher time frames, you need to spend between say 7 and 3 p.m. on the charts. Not on the charts, but obviously being aware of the charts and using alerts at the charts and stuff. But with the lower time frames, you can literally trade for 1 or 2 hours a day and then take the rest of the day off if you wanted to. So what I do personally is I trade London on the lower time frames. So this is where I'm sat at my computer and I'm focused on the charts and I'm watching to see if there's any entries, and I'm really paying attention. But then then in the afternoon I trade the higher time frames. So then I use alerts and I'd be less aware of the charts. So I just go about my day a bit more. And yeah, this works well for me. It provides a nice balance between the two, and it means I'm not sat at the charts all day looking at the lower time frame stuff, because that would just drive me insane. So I like to have a balance between that. So it's up to you how you decide to plan your day, but that's basically what I do, because yeah, you get enough percent per month from trading just one session a day. So obviously for you New York guys as well, this will be really good if you decide to trade like this. And yeah, so technicals. So we're going to be using a 2-minute change of character. So through testing, I've found it to work really well, giving clear entries and also filters out some of the noise from the 1 minute. So on the 1 minute, you'll often see there's a tiny pullback and then a break and then a change of character, or there's like a inside bar 1 minute change of character, and that's only on the 1 minute. And then you take like 2 or 3 losses trying to get into a trade. So I found the 2 minutes to be like a really consistent time frame to use, and it's a good alternative to the 1 minute. It provides some nice clean entries and it's very clear. So break even will still be at 3R for me. If you guys want to take move your stop loss to break even later or even sooner, or even just take partials instead of moving your stop loss, then that's fine. It's completely up to you, and obviously make sure you test it before implementing it. So entry will now be at the 2 minute extreme or the sweep. So same as higher time frames, we're going to be looking at if there's a sweep on the 2 minute, then we obviously take either the sweep candle or the whole 2 minute candle. Or if there's no sweep, then we obviously use the extreme. And for this one, we're going to be using a if the 2 minute extreme is 4 pips or below, then we use the open. If it's more than 4 pips, then we can use 50% of the 2 minute candle. And this just keeps the stop loss down, so you're never going to have a stop loss more than 4 pips most of the time. Obviously, there will be a couple of times where 50% is more than 4 pips, but most of the time it will be like a 2 pip stop loss or a 3 pip stop loss, depending on which pair you're trading. So partials will now be required if you want to take them. For me, I'll be taking partials at 7R, but I've found between 7R and 10R can work well. Or you can do it based on structure, so you could take partials at the 15-minute swing high, or counter trend, you could take partials at 5R. And yeah, you could take 50%, 70%, really whatever works for you. I'm not going to be like really, you have to do this, you have to do that. I'm going to be suggesting and saying what I do. So it's up to you guys to test what you found works well. Obviously with partials as well, what you can do is take higher partials while you're in low percent profit. So say for example, between 0 and 10% profit for the month, you would take 70% at 7R. And then as soon as you hit 10%, then you start taking less partials and leaving more to run. So what that does is provides a buffer. So obviously when you're taking 70% at 7R, then you'll be banking a lot of profit. And then as soon as you hit over that, then when you're leaving more trades to run, you're gonna be increasing your risk to reward massively and increasing your overall percent gained for the month massively. And you don't mind taking a few more break evens at that point because you've already banked the 10%, obviously. So yeah, it's up to you guys to decide that and implement it into your plan. So covering highs and lows will be the same as the higher time frames. So covering the highs for sells by spread plus 0.2 and covering the lows for buys by 0.2 and adding spread to the entry. Counter trend trades will be a lot different. So now we're going to be looking at obviously still playing the pullback, and for me I won't be taking any other counter trend trades apart from the pullback, and apart from that it would just be pro trend trades. But you guys can take more counter trend trades if you like. It's entirely up to you. But the counter trend trades I'll be taking will be either pro trend to the 4 hour. So if we're pro trend, I can take a 2-minute change of character from a higher time frame supply demand level. If we're counter trend to the 4 hour, then I'll be taking a 10-minute change of character, which confirms the shift in higher time frame order flow. So I've put a resource in the FAQ, so you guys can have a look at this, and it explains it in more detail. Basically, we want to see if the higher time frames are aligned, then we want to look for a 10-minute change of character, because there's going to be a lot more pressure in that direction. So you want to have a shift in order flow to confirm that. Obviously, the price is changing direction. But when you're pro trend to the 4 hour, you can look for a lower time frame entry to confirm that obviously you're going to continue the 4 hour trend. And then TPs as well will be different, because if you're taking a pro trend on the 4 hour counter trend trade, then your TP might want to be at the 4 hour swing high or low. But yeah, I've included EQ of the 15-minute leg, 5R or next supply demand level. Again, it depends on the situation, and I'll be advising where I take my profit levels, my profit targets, based on individual trades. So there's not one rule that fits every single trade for these counter trend trades. Not one take profit rule. So it really depends on the trade, and I can't say for sure that every single trade will be the same. So yeah, some of them will be taking profit at the EQ, some at the next supply demand level, and some at 5R. So yeah, it depends on the trade there, and I'm not going to obviously say that there's a strict rule on that. So what next? So you need to decide if you want to trade the lower time frames. So if you do, then you need to set your trading hours, and it's better to choose a few hours where you trade the lower time frames than be sat at the screen all day watching the 2-minute chart. So yeah, you don't want to be sat there stuck on the computer all day, because that's not freedom at all. And I'm sure that's why some of you guys joined Elevate, is for the freedom. So you need to bear in mind that you want to be just trading a couple of hours a day, or like one session. But yeah, you can trade all day if you want. I'm not saying you can't, but yeah, my suggestion would be to take breaks and everything. And yeah, so yeah, I like to trade lower time frame during London and higher time frame during New York, so then I can do other stuff and go out in the afternoon and not be sat at the computer. Yeah, you can also use alerts, your supply demand levels, same as the higher time frames, then only come to the computer once the alert triggers. And yeah, this is good because you can just keep your phone nearby, keep it on loud, and then as soon as your alert goes off, then you can look for an entry. Yeah, test, test, and test. So you need to do a lot of testing and make sure you're fully comfortable with the strategy and fully comfortable with your way of trading, because the entries will be a lot more fast paced, which means you need to be really on it and really understand where you're going to enter, where your stop loss and TP will go, and yeah, everything like that. You need to be fully aware of that. So yeah, when an entry comes, you can literally just it'll be like you know it off the back of your hand sort of thing. So you need to know your higher time frame zones, and this is more important on the lower time frames because if your zones are wrong, then you're going to get a lot more fake outs and you're going to get a lot more losses unnecessarily. So with the higher time frame entries, you can obviously be a lot more lenient. You can enter on these massive 4-hour zones and not really care, because price, if it has a higher time frame change of character, then it's likely to change direction and it's likely to be a good trade. But on the lower time frames, you need to be a lot more refined. And I'm not saying over refine, I'm just saying be aware of your higher time frame zones and have enough confluence in that. And this is all taught in the course, so what makes a good supply demand level still applies, and obviously refining the zones is a useful tool. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the Discord and I'll get back to you. There's going to be a lot more markups and a lot of trade recaps coming, so if you don't fully understand it straight away, don't worry. There's going to be a lot of content on this, and yeah, I'll teach you guys everything I know about lower time frame trading, and I look forward to seeing all your results and seeing your progression. So just bear with it at the start. Obviously, it's a big change from trading higher time frames, so if you don't fully understand it or if you're taking more losses, then just be patient, and yeah, hopefully we can make some great progress. So I'll see you all soon. Cheers.